computer, and we're starting now. Okay. So welcome again, everybody. And if you're okay with the layout of the session, that I will go through the principles, and I will not talk too many stories. I will just keep it short so we can go really into your personal journey a little bit more in depth. If that's okay, I'll start it now. And I go share, and I go. There we go. Okay. Go. Can everybody see this? Okay. Also, you can. Let me see. Okay. I will just quickly go. Oh no, this is just you. This was not smart. I just quickly go out. What I want to open up is the chat box. Meeting controls. No, dang. Gee, I'm really not good with the Zoom myself. Remote component. More. Chat. Okay. Okay. Not quite sure whether you can see the chat. Otherwise, you just, if you have a question, unmute yourself and say like, hi, I have a question before I forget. Okay? Awesome. Now I have to go this. Coming. There we go. Okay. For those who don't know my strengths, activator number 1, strategic. Number 2, connectedness. Number 3, restorative. Number 4, and woo, which is winning others over. Number 5. So in short, you get the best out of me if you want to get a kick under your bum for some action. That's my activator. The negative side, I can be a little bit impatient. Strategic, I have a very fast mind. I can look at different ways very fast and make a plan. And I can think like, okay, if I do this, then this will happen. And I can compare different plans very fast. The negative is, I think everybody thinks like me, which is not true. So sometimes I have to slow down. Connectedness is my favorite one. It's my only relationship one, I think, in my top 10, and it's my anchor for everything else. So connectedness is the gift that I have. If everything is connected in life, you can interpret it spiritually, but it is also the ability to connect resources, people, so very practical as well. But for me, it's like if I'm connected to the whole, then all the negative or lower frequencies or the blind spots of my other strengths are kept in check. Restorative is my ability when everybody is going down, I be able to fix issues and fix problems. And the negative or the blind spot in there is I need to fix sometimes people and they don't want it, right? So I've got to check in whether that's even welcome. My woo is I love people. I like many people, so the breadth of people. So I'm always looking forward to meet new people. And the weak part of this is it can be sometimes see my friendliness, which actually I feel is really true. Other people might think it's very superficial. Because I'm like a butterfly around. So this is in quick who my strengths and weaknesses. My intention, I mentioned that already, talking about the strengths psychology, take question and answer, try to make it as relevant and practicable as possible. And also I want to create for you and those people who have done it last month, a creative feedback loop. Rules of engagement, whatever we're talking here, please, confidentiality is, don't gossip about it, because obviously I have been asked, and that's what I was, and I might ask you again, and please let me know if that's okay. Confidentiality is normally when things are getting very private and very sensitive and very personal. So if you say like, I don't want to have that recorded and open out in the public, I will absolutely honor this. And also, please don't gossip. You can talk about principles or experiences, but don't mention names. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. If you talk with me later on, or if you have a comment, please be concise, which means like it needs to be meaningful, right? Own your data, so talk in the I form. I have that experience. I have that opinion. Not like everybody knows this is true, and that's why I'm feeling like not so good. That doesn't work, right? Own your own data. Respect, obviously, that is something which is always important. Solution focus is very similar to concise, so it needs to be meaningful. So think about it, how you can participate in finding a solution. I will try to do my best. I try to be engaged and give, not perfect, but I'm trying to give my best. And I want to ask you to also give your best, because the more you engage, the more you give your full energy, the more you will get out of it. What are new insights worth if you don't apply them in your life or your doTERRA business? So that question, there are so many programs out there, personal development programs, and they don't ask the final question, what are you going to do with your new insights? And this is for me very important, because I want you, all of you, to achieve your doTERRA goals so you can live the dream of your life. And for that, if you have a pen and paper, I like you to take a blank sheet of paper and make 4 columns. One for ahs, one for ahas, one for an action, and one for a feedback loop. Okay. Now, what does it mean? Ah is when you hear something in our conversation, or even in my talk, you hear something which you knew already, but it is super important for your journey, right? And you think like, this is important for me. I got to think about this again. I shouldn't forget this. Aha is a new insight, and again, like it is super relevant for your life. Now, out of the ahas and ahas in the first 2 columns, I'd like you to think, do I need to do an action on them? Do I need to action on them? Is there something so relevant that I need to do something with it? And then maybe just write yourself a reminder. Don't make a big plan. Maybe you do this afterwards, but just put yourself a reminder, right? And then also, and then that I would like you to do a little bit later is create what I call a feedback loop.
Auntie, I can't talk to you right now, my darling.
Any action which...
I'm not mean, Auntie.
Oh, there's someone is talking and is not muted. You do so, that's okay, but you can turn it off. So create a feedback loop. What does it mean? Any action you are doing, you need to check what are the results, and only then you will be able to be in what I've called sweet spotting, like you're always in the sweet spot of life. And I mean it in personal, for you, in your relationship, in your family, but also in your business. And check whether whatever you do new, whether you get the results. If you don't, you might have to fine-tune it, redefine it, or you might want to even abandon it. Anybody listen to my little Facebook Live this morning? I gave you 2 examples. I really thought like, what a great idea. 5:30 a.m., getting up, doing the beautiful walking meditation, And after a few days, I had to give it up. It was too early for me. My body was not handling it well because the day got too long. And so I had to kind of like drop this. I have to do my meditation at some other time. So that was my feedback loop, right? And then I suffered. So pain is often a really good motivator, right? And I suffered lately, like my digestion wasn't good. And no matter what I did, I used all the doTERRA products for the digestive system, but still it did not kind of like, I felt my belly is a bit bloated and my energy is sucked. And I identified cheese as the prime culprit, which I could digest very well in my time in Europe. And as a German, I like my cheese. But here in a more hot and humid climate, I couldn't feel that it's not right. So I cut it out and I checked it. 2 or 3 days later, I feel so much better, right? So I'll keep it out of my diet right now. And it made a big difference for me. So this is like 2 examples for a feedback loop. Hope that makes sense for you. Now about the strengths. He asked the questions in around 1960. What will happen when we think about what is right with people rather than fixating what is wrong with them? And out of that, the whole strength system created. I think it's the strengths finder test, the way we know today, is existing since about 15 years or so, and a lot of people have done it. So I want to quickly go through the definitions so everybody understands them. And by the way, feel free to if you have never seen this and you want to kind of like this goes a bit quick for you, maybe print screen. You take a quick picture of what I show you right now, so you can go through it in a more relaxed way. But I want to go through it because I know many people of you know the basics already, and I don't want to bore them too much. So a talent theme is that they found out that your talents most related to potential success can be grouped into 34 categories. A talent, it's a natural way of thinking, feeling, and acting, which you can, when you become aware of that, you can productively apply it. And the greater the intensity of the talent, the greater is the power and the greater your opportunity for success. What it really means if you have to invest in your talent. And then, only then, they become your strengths. So ultimately, when you do the test, it might be not a strength test, it might be a talent test, because you might have not developed your talents truly to a strength. And a strength is that the ability to consistently provide near perfect performance. And you can do it always, right? This is when you have really matured your talent into a strength. So a mature talent is well-informed, practice-oriented towards other and highly productive. The raw talent is uninformed, inexperienced, self-orientated, and often unproductive. Now, a little hint here. I know for myself, and I know probably it's true for everybody, when I'm stressed, my mature talent becomes very quick a raw talent. If I'm stressed and I'm late on time and I drive through Byron Bay through the holiday crowd who are crawling along sightseeing and I need to go somewhere, I can get very impatient and I have to really manage that impatience of my activator, right? I go like, move, right? So, or I might be, if I'm a little bit not present enough, not relaxed enough, I go very quickly in my restorative and say like, hey, don't tell me the story. I know your problem. Here's the solution. Bang, 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 right? So my restorative together with my activator comes out more as a raw talent when I'm tired, stressed, and not relaxed. Hope that makes sense for you guys. The strengths are separated into 4 different domains: executing things, helping you make things happen, influencing things, help you to take charge, speak up and make sure the team is heard so you can influence. Relationship building themes is the ability to build strong relationships that can hold a team together and make the team greater than the sum of its parts. And strategic thinking themes help you to consider what could be. They absorb and analyze information that can inform better decisions. Right. Don't need to talk about this. Now, this is very important, and I want you to always remember it, because we all fall into the trap where we don't apply these principles, and it happens again and again. No matter what themes you have in your top 5 or top 10, they're all good. No matter what combination of themes you have, they're all good. Each theme and each combination can be your best, or each theme and combination can be your best support and your strongest hindrance. And I gave you some examples already for myself. So talents only become strengths if you invest them. So it's like the more you use them, more you integrate them into your daily life, the more you get out of them. It's like using oils regularly, right? It's the same thing. Strengths need to be applied in a positive, constructive way, which means like, I can't say like, oh my, because I'm impatient, this is just my activator, and that's why I can't relate to people. Nah, this doesn't work, right? We don't use the strength as an excuse for something. And then differences are good, right? It's like, especially when you work with a team, it is wonderful because ultimately we need each other. We are not islands, right? We want to work together as a team. Humans are herd animals. We need each other, and it's a good thing. So these principles are very important to always remember. Okay, we talked about this. So if you're just starting out, this is just the beginning. And if you feel it resonates with you, it speaks to you, invest in it. It's an ongoing journey. It's a beautiful journey, and it's very, very rewarding as well. Okay, talked about that. We don't need to do that. The video we don't need either. Oops. So this is, I want to quickly talk about. Aim it, name it, and claim it. If you remember this, in the very beginning, you will read your report, and you need to understand the definition, which are often the words are quite different sometimes, the way we use the words in day-to-day language. So strategic means something very specific in the strength system. It's not like how we use strategic day-to-day. And it's very important that you get acquainted with it. The moment you understand it, try to identify how these themes come up naturally every day. I've been doing this, and I've been doing it together with Santoshi, and it's really helpful to do with someone. And even go out there and claim it by saying to anybody and say like, hey, this is my intellection coming through. I love to talk, right? And I like to go deep into a conversation. Or here, this is my achiever coming through. I like to make lists, right? And I need to finish them off. I need to tick them off. This is important for me. So the more you talk about it, the more you explain to your family and your friends or your partners, the more they become a second skin to you. You identify more with them. Then, once you identify them, you will be able also to aim your strength, particularly towards a certain goal you set, right? You will know now, okay, for this particular goal, for this particular activities, I need to draw, in my case, for instance, for my connectedness, because I need to relate to the person first before my strategic comes in and kind of like offers a plan, and before my activator comes in, where I try to initiate some actions from my team or my team member, and before my woo comes in, where I kind of like win them over towards my plan and my action. So this is when you can really aim it. But before you can do this, it's good to understand who you are in the strength system. So you are aware of your toolbox. So you don't always bring out your hammer, let's say the activator. I can't always use this. Sometimes I have to hold it back a long time before then I strategically think like, oh, this is now the time where I created a trusting relationship with my team or my team member. They are open now to be inspired by me to take action about a plan which we discussed together. All right, I hope I haven't lost you. I hardly see you here. So I hope all is good. So talked about name it, claim it, and aim it. I don't need to talk about this. So for you, I want to ask you these questions. What is the one thing which will have the greatest impact on your personal or into your doTERRA life? And I like you to go for a goal which is in your sweet spot area. It's not too hard and it's not too easy. And I want to quickly share something with you. I learned something. If you have created your why and it's in the distant future, and you get one disappointment in your day-to-day activities, one after the other, and you lose the connection why you're doing it, it is very hard to continue. So I'm very good, I very much support that people have a long-term goal, but also make short-term goals where you can say like, good on you, Adish, or good on you, Cara, or Teresa, or Emma, or Sarah. I managed this little goal, because you, otherwise you starve yourself. You need to give yourself goals which are also regularly achievable. Yeah? And then ask yourself, for your journey, what support do I need? And what support do I need to give myself? Okay, now I want to introduce you to something which our beautiful friend Trisha and Vicky and Harry and Mark and Paula have created. So this is a little bit like, I will stop share now, because, hi Trisha. Now, I have it here, but I want to invite you very quickly. So this is a bit of a quick, how do you call that? It's something where I want you to be aware of, because they created something beautiful, and for some of you, it is, you might resonate with you. And is it okay, Tisha, if I give give you a couple of minutes and you do a little promote of your wonderful new product? And thank you so much for sending it to me. Okay, so you unmute yourself, and I meanwhile read all three a little bit through the group chat too.
Yes, did you want me to start talking, Adish?
Yes, you are on.
Okay, so last year when we were at the convention, there was 5 of us sitting around the dinner table, and we're all colour teachers. And we thought, how can we combine our 2 great passions? And our 2 great passions are colour and essential oils. And so Drop Into Life was born, and if you can see, that's our logo, and you can see it's all coloured drops. And it's colour and essential oils, because we understand the language of colour, and everybody loves colour. So it's another way of starting up a conversation with people and understanding which oils marry into that personality. So you've got it in the strengths. We've also included the Clifton strengths in our book. But yeah, and just teaching people, educating people, you know, this is a part of who you are, and there's an oil for that. And so it's just another platform for people to build their businesses. And we're so excited about it, because, as I said, we get to talk about our 2 loves. What else would you like to know? Would you like me to keep going, Adish?
Sorry, I just had to put on some light. It was getting dark here.
Yeah. So did you want me to talk about what's in the kit?
Okay, so maybe because if you want, no, well, thank you, because we obviously can talk a lot, but this is what's not really about it. But Justine loves it already, I can see. What I will do is I will share quickly the screen with the website and your contact details, so they can get to you straight if they are more interested in it. Now, let me quickly, like, I want to show you a little bit. Like, let me do this one. I love it. So, this is, they have a set of cards, right? So, success red. Drop into means like what you want to, drop into, what do you want to bring into your life? Passion, this particular color, success and courage. But then also in order to drop into something, you need to let go of something. You have to say no or drop out of something, which is lethargy, boredom, and discouragement. So this is awesome here. That's the top. And then it gives you some success red colored characteristics, some recommendations, which oils and which blends basically strengthen your success with the color red, right? And then also daily affirmations, and it's also related to the strengths. So this is an awesome system. If you like colors, oils, strengths, bring it all together. It's a wonderful way, and it's a unique way, if it resonates with you, to introduce a new conversation with leads, with your team, when you do mentoring, right? There's also this wonderful book. This has much more information as well. It comes with a beautiful bag where you can put everything in. And it has also this, this basically bigger poster where you can play, upside down, where you can pay, you look into, it's like a tree of life a little bit, right?
Yes.
That's where I got the association with. And they also do courses, so you can, and it's just like, I know this is, I love the doTERRA community because we have so beautiful, many individuals have this incredible gift. So I felt really drawn to quickly share this with you, and I hope this is okay with you. If you're interested, I quickly share again the details. So
thank you, Adish.
Okay. So this is Trish's phone number, I guess. That's the email, and that's the website. If you just quickly do a print screen, and then I'm out again. Okie dokie. Are you okay? Awesome. Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Trish. That is wonderful. I so loved it. I can feel all your heart in there. It was just like I was in tears when I got it. Honestly, that's how I responded. It was very beautiful.
It is my heart and soul, and my desire to get,
I know.
Yes, color and oils into everyone's home.
And they have 30 to 40 years experience of it all, and even more. So they are really, really experts. They know what they're talking about. All right, now we're coming to the juicy bits. I managed to get the whole thing done in nearly half an hour. Now, who wants to explore a little bit their strengths? Who has a question?
So, Adish, can I ask you a question?
Rani, yes. Now, you have to give me, because I know some of you have sent me, some of you not, but I quickly have to write down your top 5 quickly. Rani.
Oh, mine. It's harmony, connectedness,
yeah,
focus,
yeah,
consistency, and the same thing as you have, which starts with the R. I always forget it.
Restorative.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a blind spot. You have not fully embraced it yet. That's why you're forgetting it, I guess. All right, what's your question?
Okay, so my question is, look, I think I've asked you this before, and it's like, I have to say, I feel like a very blonde, it's a blonde question, but it's about focus and consistency. Now, focus and consistency, now, it's crazy for me that they say, okay, focus and consistency is one of my top 5 strengths, right? But then, and then on top of that, you know, as it says, you've got to develop them and put more strength into them by experiencing it or putting more, what do you call it? Using it more often or putting some training into it. But then I think, well, why do they call it strengths? Because to me, if that was my top strength, I'd be able to just reel it off. And I cannot understand why focus and consistency.
I don't know whether I understand it right. So you said like, well, why do they say you have to focus on it and develop it when it's already my strength? Is that what your question is?
Yeah.
It's true for even my number one strength. It comes naturally to me, but to make it a mature strength, a wise strength, I have to really be aware of it. And for instance, let's say focus, right? Shall I talk about focus, what I could do, what the weak point with focus would be, right? Yeah. Focus is the ability of completely zoning in on one subject issue.
Yeah.
And everything else you forget about, right? So the positive thing is, because it's an executing thing, you make things happening. You will achieve something. I would love to have a virtual assistant who has focus, because I know she has the ability to do the jobs and finish them, because she's not sidetracked by gossip or Facebooking. So you have this ability, you can shut out any distraction in your life and just focus on one thing. Now, it's a good thing, but then if the situation needs something else, like say, you're not a young mom, but I have that in my head at the moment. So
I am a young.
All right, so let's say you have toddlers and babies screaming around, right? Yeah. And they need taken care of too. Your focus, the weak point of the focus, you say, you forget about them, that your baby needs feeding or da-da-da-da. Or maybe, let's say, you forget that Mark asked you to do something else. It's not, you just forget everything, right? True. So in that sense, you need to be able to understand both elements. So the positive and the weak spots. And as you become aware, as I mentioned, and I think even with our top strengths, when we're stretched, we will always experience also the less mature aspects of that strength. And if you develop awareness around this, you know that say, all right, I can focus now over the next 2 hours because nothing else is on. Nobody needs me right now, and I go really in, right? But if you go like, okay, you forget about it after 3 or 4 hours, and you forgot that you had appointments or something else to do, which is also relevant, then you need to dial that back. So you need to kind of like manage the kind of like less mature parts of being focused. So with my activator or my restorative, right? So, okay, I can give you an example with restorative, and you have that as well. So restorative, it's amazing, yeah? But it's only amazing if the other person gives me permission to offer them solutions. Yeah. And how often is that with we as men, we want to give advice to our female friends, and they say like, nah, that's not what I'm asking for. I want you to just listen and have, be patient with me, have a compassion and empathy. I don't want you to give me a solution, right? So everybody can relate to that a little bit. So it's awesome. So I have to kind of like ask questions before I offer my solutions, which I have immediately in my head, in the back of my head already, but I can't push them on people.
So can I ask you then, if, for example, if focus is not in your top 5, but you still can put the same amount of discipline and get focus to be you know, to work for you. So that's why I'm saying, well, what is the difference saying it's a strength for me? Because it means that doesn't it mean that anybody who puts the focus onto any one of those friends can make it a top strength for them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so what are you hearing? Like, hey, I'm the lucky one. I got focus. I can do it naturally, right? It just comes automatically. It's just right there. It's natural for you. What about people who don't have it, right? They need to use any of their other strengths to be able, it's not that they can't focus. They will be able to focus too, but they need the motivation from other strengths to be able to focus. So for me, focus, discipline, achiever, all executing things, they're down a little bit on the bottom, on the lower half, right? It's achiever, as some of you might know, is my last one. And so someone still is it Liz or Carrie? You are both not on mute yet. So I hear some background noise. All right.
Can you hear me when I speak?
I can hear you when you, I can hear you now, but if you don't speak, just turn it off again.
It is saying I'm on mute, although I'm seeing that it's not, but it's not me with the telly in the background, so I'm not sure.
Okay, it's then Carrie. Okie dokie. No worries. I want to see you though, all. It's great to see you. Whoever is kind of like turned off the video, I love to see you guys because this is the feedback I need. Okay, I come back to you in a second, Rani. Yep. It's important for me to see you because my relationship skills are not so good, right? It's connectedness. So I might talk about things which I think are relevant, but I need the visual feedback from you guys whether I don't lose you, right? And so that is awesome. So now, it doesn't mean that I can't focus, but it's not a natural gift for me. I have to kind of like come from a different angle. So, for instance, right now I was focused in terms of what I wanted, and it is coming from my significance. My significance is I like to be seen of value in my relationships. I feed on feedback from other people from the outside. So I'm outwardly motivated. Right? And it helps me to stay focused. So I put this Zoom on and my processes are a little bit messy because of my strengths, and but still I get to a certain focus, but it's not the way you do it because also of the combination of the things. So it doesn't mean that people can't focus, or for instance, if they don't have resources, they are not able to create solutions for their problems, but they come from a different angle, and that's how you need to learn for it. And that's why you've got to go specifically in what is the issue, how can we aim your strength to get a good result. Does it make sense a little bit?
Yeah, no, that helps heaps because it took me quite a while to understand what was the relevance of getting my top 5 strengths. So I forgot about it for quite a while and didn't bother. And then I think listening to you speak, because you had researched it, it was really handy because I related to you. But then because focus and consistency was very much needed in the business, I realized by you explaining it as you have, that I realized where I am. I am focused, and you are right. When the children are growing up, if I had an interesting conversation, I'll just forget about them. You know, like they can just feed themselves. So totally relevant, and I can see where with consistency also I have to see where I went more into I had to pull back and manage that focus.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. I love the way you related the focusing on the relating with someone. And this is with your connectedness and your harmony, for instance, which are relationship skills, right? So this is a beautiful example of how two or three themes can work together. Whereas focus let's say if I would have focus and I would have command, they would have a completely different flavor, right? Because command is, I'm taking charge of the situation, not that I have it somewhere in the middle, but it's a good contrast, right? Your focus in a relationship would be much softer because you have harmony in there, right? Whereas if focus comes together with command, as an example, it's a very strong influencing theme. You take charge of the situation and people will naturally follow you. And then you bring the focus in, you can kind of like then also inspire people to action or to whatever you want them to do. This is just like, you can see focus can have, it's how to understand yourself as a whole, what type of flavor it is. And focus can mean so many different things.
So when you talk about with the harmony and the connectedness, what I realized now over the years, when I'm talking to someone I get into harmony with and I've created a relationship with, the focus goes out the window. So I could be talking to someone all day and come out with nothing. So I can see where it has really caused me grief.
Okay, so this is harmony, probably a little bit more on the raw talent, that harmony is, it's not that you can't talk about, let's say, a difficult situation, right? It doesn't mean that naturally. A mature harmony means that you can address difficult situations, difficult problems, whether it's relationship or whatever it is, you can address them, but you do it from the position of let's find the common ground. We don't want to talk extremely about what's different, what's difficult, but what is here the common ground? And we can build on the common ground and extend it. And we don't need to get emotional about it, for instance. Right? So if you bring focus in, you can bring focus into harmony. It's just like, my focus is purely on the positive aspects of, let's say, what do I want to get out of the crucial conversation? I want to make peace with this person. I want to find common ground, and I want to kind of like develop a new relationship with him so we can develop our relationship more towards collaboration rather than kind of like fighting with each other. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah. No, I mean, my one thing I was stuck on is the fact that I didn't have those 5 strengths like that, and you've actually helped dissipate that. So yeah, no, it's really good.
And you can think even about like, so one also a question for anybody else is, what is the most important strengths in my top 5? It doesn't have to be number 1, where I'm going like, this is so me on the positive side, and I'm aware of, let's say, the blind spots in that strength, but I think I'm pretty able to manage it. It doesn't affect me that much. Now, so this is basically a little bit of a question for you to tune in and read the description again. By the way, for those who have done the test before, let's say the 23rd of October 2018, afterwards a completely new explanation has come out, which you might not be aware of. So if you haven't done it, log into your account. There is a completely new report. It is much more precise. It is easier to read. It is better structured. It asks good questions. So do this, if you haven't done it, do this again, print it out and read it again. And then if you then look into the question like, which strength is most important? And then from that one, because you are aware of the positive sides, then try to link it. What does it mean if, for instance, let's say, if you feel like harmony is the most important for you, how would harmony work with connectedness together? How would harmony work with focus together? How would harmony work with consistency together? How would harmony work with restorative together? In a positive way. And everybody can do this for themselves a little bit, and you can ask yourself these questions.
Perfect. No, that sounds like a great thing to work through. Thank you.
All right. So is
Can
there
I say
any
something too?
Yeah.
Sorry
Yes.
to interrupt.
No,
I
no,
found it
please.
really interesting. Thanks for doing this for us tonight as well, Adhish. It's really amazing. But Rani, how you said that you struggled with the top 5 and really paying attention to them because if they were your top 5, why would you have to work on them? And for me, I looked at it in a really different way when I first did my strengths, which are learner, restorative, intellection, input, and belief. And I found it really interesting because where I find blocks in my business moving forward in the way that I want, or in achieving short-term as well as long-term goals within my doTERRA business, if I can look at those, I'm actually really nervous talking to you guys. It's quite funny. But if I can look at those top 5 and see which one I'm maybe sitting too comfortably in. For instance, I think things through a lot. So intellection is one of my top 5. I could have intellectual conversations with people about things that interest me or that I really want to hone in on for a very long time, but that can then stop me from actually taking action or showing my belief or having input in other areas of the business where people might need more mentoring or people might need more support or some ideas built up, and I can get stuck within that top 5 of mine of intellection because it's easy for me. So it's really interesting as well because you can look at it the other way and challenge yourself to not just sit within those top 5 strengths and flip them a little bit and go outside of the comfort zone to push yourself in the other areas like being a learner or being restorative, which are more action orientated and actually making you execute instead of just sitting within it. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, look, beautiful, Emma. Just to that I got it right. You're number 1 learner, number 2 restorative, then intellection, then input, and then belief.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have strategic thinking and 2 executive execution ones, right?
Mm.
So and you shared this already. Like say your intellection can you that. For those, I explained it last time. Intellection is like my picture of intellection is they would be happy to see in front of a wood fire and talk for 5-6 hours and go really deep into something. Jen, we talked about it last time, and nothing else needs to happen. This is the perfect day for them. Yeah. It's finished. Nothing else has to happen. It is so fulfilling, right? But we know for our doTERRA business. That's not all what needs to happen. You know, we need to we need to direct it and focus it. But you have this beautiful, you have also restorative and you have belief as 2 executing things, right? So can I ask you a question? Like if in just do it intuitively, which is the one in there, which is the most whole strength in there, which you can go like, that's me.
Learner, very definitely. I relate to learner, and I'm continually looking for new information and for new things to spark my interest, so that I can build on my belief and build on my input. And then, it's for me. If I'm not learning every second of the day, then I'm frustrated. Awesome. And can let that get in the way of things too.
Beautiful. So really learn. It's a desire to learn. It's the joy of learning and be open. And it's like, it's a wonderful thing. And I must have say, I have a little bit of learner envy. You know, I like that one. And because you're always open, it's always alive, and it's a strategic thinking one. So as a strategic thinking one, the less mature aspects of learner is that you might learn things which excite you, but which are not really relevant for your goals, right? It's the same, like it's the same weakness like intellection. You talk about things, you have fun with it, but it's not productive.
Yeah, and that's why, so sorry to interrupt, but sure. I went on and did the full 34 strengths because as the intellection and the learner, I was like, well, I'm not quite happy with that. So I'm going to see what sits outside the top 5 that I can work on more to bring them into my top 5 and stuff like that. And I think if focus had been in there, then the intellection and the learner perhaps would have been more easily honed to make me more proactive with achieving goals and that sort of stuff. So it's about being able to look at, I guess, those top 5 and recognize, pull out the weaknesses that you see in being able to execute those top 5 in your everyday, like you said. Otherwise you just become the immature kind of thinker, learner, strategist, whatever it is that you're working towards. So yeah, it's been really interesting. And also in being able to relate with my builders and other people in my team through their top 5, because my top 5 may have no relevance to how they need to be communicated with or responded to.
No, there you broke a principle. You have to use, you are absolutely capable with your strengths to communicate with your team exactly what they need.
Okay.
You just broke the principle. You need to use it productively, and you can.
I'm learning.
So I don't want to criticize you, because we all fall into this trap, right? And you will understand it. That's why I pointed it out. Now let me talk about learner. We could go into the top 10 and look at something else, but learner is, I think it's a key, and you're not happy if you don't learn a thing every day. So we want to utilize that passion, right? But we want to give it some direction. And the direction could come, firstly, belief. It is funny, so it's an executing thing, because belief is something, there are some values and some issues, there's some values and some worldviews, they will always stay the same. You need to identify your values. And I probably would give you the homework to write them down. What is it? It's really like, I'm unwavering, no matter what happens. This is my foundation. This is my anchor, right? Because it's an executing theme, because you will naturally act towards that. Now, I'd like you to link that then towards learner. What do I need to learn, right, to make it even more precise, that it is relevant, that I will act on it? Then I like you to look into restorative. And then I go like into restorative, and you do it first you look individually at your doTERRA team. What is broken? That's the gift of someone with the strength of restorative. You have an eye for what's broken, what doesn't work, right? And again, you go from your learner, you mix it with your learner. What do I have to learn to fix that particular problem? And then you can also relate this. You might identify like, oh my goodness, my communication with my team is not good. They don't hear me right, or they don't want to talk to me, or whatever it is, right? So then you go, okay, restoratives means like, okay, how do I fix it? Then from there on, and there will be something hopefully in your top 10, you go to your relationship strength in there. And you go like, what do I need to fix and make better in my relationship?
Number 7, harmony.
Sorry, harmony?
Number 7 is harmony.
Okay, harmony. So you bring harmony in, and then you bring your learner in and go like, how can I bring more harmony to the focus in my relationship so I can fix the problem which I identified with my restorative, and it needs to be in alignment with my belief values.
Yeah, it's really powerful, isn't it? And I think what I'm learning continually going back into my top 5 as well is that I think in building the doTERRA business and wanting to achieve and having these long-term goals and these rank goals, I know for myself, and I'm sure other people can relate, that sometimes you get so stuck in the action of just trying to enroll and getting customers and getting builders and getting sharers, that you forget that you need to nurture the relationship, and you need to nurture the communication, and you need to keep going back and seeing how you're executing and how you're presenting yourself and how your strategy is affecting other people's ability to take your communication. And it all just keeps playing back in, like you said, where you are either dealing on that mature level or that immature level. Yeah,
wonderful.
It's really powerful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So you make a really good point. It's like, especially if that we sometimes people only focus on the enrollment, right? But so we're coming to a true pipes or empowered success issue here. That is just the first enrollment. How can we We can only kind of like let go of people a little bit more when we have kind of like closed the journey in terms of like we have done a wellness consult, we have helped them to find their own resources, we made them mature in their own doTERRA health journey.
Yeah.
And until this is done, right, and then they want to stay as a wholesale customer, then we can let go of them because they know how to handle the back office. They have the resources to ask to find new solutions for their health problems. Then we can slowly ease out of that, right? But until then, I would use all your strengths in the way you communicate with them and bring them over. So you brought up a very, very good point.
Thank you. Thanks for chatting. Don't let me take up all the rest of the time.
Okay, so who else has a question or want to talk about an issue? Yeah, Tisha, come.
Well, I would love to hear your thoughts of integrating with my top 5. Would you like to hear what they are?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I also have learner, connectedness, strategic, achiever, and relator.
There we go. Connectedness. Yep. What's your question?
Well, it's just in the combining of that, because I'm a little bit like Emma. I love to learn. I also love that connectedness and strategy and achieving. So that balance of the relator, that's the people one, because you were talking about, I forget how you said that, but focusing on one that maybe is the best one to focus on and then getting those to work with.
Yeah, look, this is just the one way with which I develop for myself, and it's so good for me. It is such a help to manage my strengths toolbox. So I don't always bring out the hammer or the drill. Sometimes it's just like a screwdriver, right?
Yes.
And so that's why I'm offering it to you, to maybe it will work for you, right, as well. So which one do you feel like you can relate to the best?
Well, there's a couple, but I think the strategic, because, I do a lot of consultations for people, and it's always been in relation to understanding them from a colour perspective, but giving the different scenarios and seeing the patterns that occur in their lives and being able to view that from a very, to offer up solutions. I think that's one of my strengths, definitely.
So I know you have been, as far as I know, as an Aurosoma consultant. The way I saw Santoshi, it was all about explaining and then giving solutions, right?
Yes.
Now, in my view, our doTERRA journey is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way I see it, there is a difference between coaching and consulting. Yeah, coaching is asking questions only, and through the questioning, you instigate a process in the other where they find their answer. Consulting is they will ask you for advice. So in terms of like the sessions which Santoshi has done, she has been telling people who they are and what they should do. And it was a little bit of self, no, okay. Not the Tree of Life one, not the more developed one, but the beginning sessions, I've seen her often kind of like telling people first, right?
Yeah.
And maybe not, maybe I'm completely wrong. But what I see is with strategic, it's a plan, but it's a thinking theme. You might see immediately a solution because you have a plan. So if a person comes to you, you can see like if she does that, that will happen. If she does something else, that will happen. And if she does the third way, that will happen. And so you have very quick a picture for that, but you need to relate it to the person. And therefore that you will need the connectedness, the relationship one.
Right.
Because the weakness in strategic is, you might not be, you might have integrated already, so it is really mature in you. But I had to realize I have strategic at number 2, that I was thinking, the way I'm thinking is common sense. Why do people don't understand me, right? And Santoshi especially, she doesn't have strategic thinking themes. And so I had to understand that I have to slow down. I have to go more in depth. What I was thinking is common sense, and go more into the detail to explain to her, to bring her on board. And I used my connectedness with this. So I can, when I say something and go like, Santoshi, like, we should do this and this and this, because this and this will work. And I can see like her eyes, like in the deer in the head, in the car lights. I know I haven't reached her. I need to go a little bit more into the detail, right?
Okay.
Now you also have the relator. So you are perfect for deep, intimate, authentic, personal, but also therapy sessions. The relator strength is that people naturally trust you, right? Naturally trust. They come to you with your problems, right? And
Yes.
they will open up to you. And this is like the attraction of someone with a relator strength.
Right.
And so in terms of your doTERRA business, for instance, or reaching out even to a bigger audience, the relator strength is, let's say, for you to go on the stage in front of many people might be a little bit harder than for someone who has Wu.
Yes.
If you go on to the convention where thousands of people come together, you will feel always comfortable to stay together with those people you know already, rather than going out, I want to learn lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
So now, so in terms of building your business, and this is true for anybody who has relator high and maybe Wu low, most likely you will not tend to enroll a lot of people, but you have to think, and this is where your strategic comes in and your achiever should come in, where you go like, who are the special 6 people or a few more who are my main business builders, who I really want to create this true, deep, meaningful, authentic relationship for life. Because you make friends for life.
Yep.
A Wu person makes a lot of friends. Like me, I'm a butterfly, and then when they're gone, right? I can relate with them deep too. It's not like this, but it's like I just put out the extremes a bit. So for you, it's like friends for life. And you obviously want to have people on your front, like in your doTERRA business, you will feel comfortable with to go on a cruise and have holidays with. This is very important for you.
Absolutely.
So in terms of, I hope I still relate to you good, because I forgot completely your question. Apologies.
And that's all good. That's very informative.
But what I would recommend for you, and this is where I'm going into my consulting and not asking questions anymore.
That's good.
Because my restorative comes up too strong. I can see it. So for you, it's like sit down and write down by yourself on a piece of paper, what are the qualities of business builders do I want? What are the persons? And write them down as detailed as possible. I would recommend it anyway to everybody, but for relators even more so, because most likely you will not be a high-end personal enroller. So it is important that you leverage your few contacts which you have to the maximum. So, and then my recommendation is go for difference. So you want to get someone with Wu in there, for instance. As an example, it doesn't have to be, but you want to go for someone who's not exactly like you. Go for someone who brings variety into your team.
Okay.
Does that help you a little bit?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Any more questions?
No, that's it.
So, but for everybody, and this is actually the little PowerPoint I created, the difference between coaching and consulting. In your mentoring, be aware what you are doing, because we all have our advice monster in the back of our head who wants to jump forward. And so often it is not appropriate. Learn how to ask questions, wait and go deeper into the questioning. If I would do a session with you just by yourself, I would probably go completely into coaching, which means that I will ask continuously questions. I will give you the time to digest. But I was in this group scenario, I'd rather share a little bit more of the meanings and how you can play with the different themes, if that's okay with you guys. All right, anybody else?
Adish, can I just tell you my 5 and some of what you've been saying? Oh, well, some of it's been nail on the head for me and very big aha moments because I have those ones. But I'd like to tell you my 5 just to see how you think they connect, because you were connecting a couple of them in different examples that you just gave. So my first one's connectedness. My second one's learner. My third one's restorative. Then achiever and activator. So I have been madly scribbling notes when you were talking about the learner and the restorative with Emma. That really hit home for me. And even though you were speaking about it being with a relator with Trisha, you were saying about finding people and having that connectedness. So that's what I was sort of substituting the connectedness with the relator there as you spoke. But with my achiever and activator, how do you think they come into play with those other 3?
You are a go-getter. And it's a wonderful, wonderful combination. Because anything you put your sights on, you can achieve with these 2 combinations, honestly, and then learn and restorative. The only thing is that there might be some, if this is happening and you only focus on this, there might be some collateral damage on the way. Mm-hmm. So this would be the raw talents of both of them, really, right?
Yeah.
So, so tell me, have you heard me talking about how I make connectedness the centerpiece, my anchor, because it softens everything. Because, you know, I don't have so much execution as you. I'm more of an influencer, right? But my influencing, if I don't relate to my audience or the person I'm talking to, my influencing is completely off. I think like, wow, I have this great insight, I'm sharing it, and it's not relevant for the person. It doesn't mean that it's not a good insight, but it's not relevant in this moment. Yeah. And only connectedness helps me to stay relevant and present in the moment.
Okay.
So, and for you, because you have it as number 1, I would really focus and understand how can I bring connectedness in to my relating. So all my executing skills, the restorative, the achiever, and the activator, they are very powerful executing things.
Yeah.
And so I talked to you already about restorative, the weak part. You want to fix problems when people don't want to be fixed. Achiever is like you are so clear of what you want to achieve that relationships don't matter anymore. They fall away. You just focus on it, right? They're kind of like collateral damage. And I explained to you the way I see activator. It's the impatience in us, activator. It is I know it will be always there in me. It's just like that I don't fall into it and that I don't act it out. I feel out now when I feel it coming more often than not, I can sense it. I can sense this, the butterflies, and I want to act on it. And I go like, breathe out. It's okay.
Yeah.
And the connectedness helps me with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With restorative, the ability to quickly see what is wrong, what needs to be fixed. With your achiever and activator, like one is just like you will finish whatever you set your things on. You will finish. It's about finishing things. An activator is like you can act on it, and then the learner, like for you specifically, I would ask you to learn what I set out with the ahas, the action and the feedback loop, because the feedback loop will relate to your learner. It's the same, or Emma has gone, whoever has learner of you, it should relate to you that you would want to learn from your actions.
Yeah.
You want to make them, you may want to make your actions better. And what do you need for that, right? So it should really appeal to you. And for you, you don't have a learner, find something else which motivates you to check in how are your actions giving you actually a result, or are you unconsciously repeating the same actions and expect something else to happen? No, it's not going to happen. You got to adventure into something new in order to get a different result.
Yeah.
Does that help you a little bit, Justine?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm madly scribbling notes. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Who else wants to have a chat?
I will, Adish. It's Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good. So my top strengths are positivity, activator, connectedness,
Can't see me.
relator, and futuristic.
Hang on.
Right.
My question for you is that I don't have any executes even in my top 10. They're all like right in the bottom. And I'm finding, especially
Somehow they're related, I think.
participating in Diamond
Kevin.
Club,
Kevin.
that this is causing me
Christine, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Okay, sorry, Sarah, I couldn't hear you there.
That's all right. So yeah, I'm finding because I don't have any executes in my top strengths that I'm just feeling like it's causing me a bit of anxiety because, you know, you do still need to be organized and do, I don't know, like with the planning and...
Give me your 6 to 10. Do you have 6 to 10?
I do. Sorry, I'm going to have to turn my phone up. So 6 I know is woo.
Yeah.
And then I have communication.
Yeah.
Harmony.
Yeah.
Input and intellection.
Now, so even though you don't have any executing skills there, talents in your top 10, do you have 11 and 12?
Yeah, 1 second. I'll just... How good is it having the app that you can get them quickly?
I know.
I have developer and ideation.
And number 13?
Empathy.
And number 14?
Is belief. So that's the first to execute.
Belief. Here we go. Wow. Do you do the business by yourself or do you do it with your partner? Is he involved this one? Huh?
No, just by myself.
Okay. Now, so the first thing is, even though you don't have executing strengths in the top 13 or 14 or 13, you still act every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do things.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to find the motivation, what gets you going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then all these 4 domains, they flow into each other, right? it's good to kind of like have these categories so you understand yourself a bit better, but they also kind of like, it's more like it's not walls to separate these four domains, it's more like a curtain, right?
Okay.
So which of the top 5 or even top 10, it doesn't matter, feels you feel like, oh yeah, this is so me, and yes, I understand the weaker parts, but actually I can handle it. It's not dominating my life.
I think it would be between positivity, futuristic, and woo.
All right. Futuristic is good. And it's not that, you know, I play out how I could see that futuristic can inspire you to action, right? Futuristic in itself is like you're naturally always thinking about the future, in contrast to I think it's context where you think about the past, or also adaptability, who are just here now people. I have futuristic in my top 10 as well, so I can relate what you're saying. And I was thinking now, oh my goodness, I'm a meditator since I've been meditating since my teenage years, right? So I think I should be an adaptability person, but I'm not. I'm a futuristic one. And the moment I saw that and I was thinking about it, and then I was becoming aware in my daily life, it is so true. I'm not like any other old person who only talks about the past. I'm always still thinking about the future has so many more gifts for me, and I'm always busy with it. It's a natural way of thinking, right? So the way then I would like you to take some time out to kind of like paint your picture, make a vision board, or however you do it, and go in detail how you see your future, a perfect future. Make it as vivid as possible, as emotionally relevant, as detailed as possible.
Okay.
And out of that, you bring it in and ask yourself the questions in order to achieve it, because I'm strongly emotionally charged and it's very clear in my head, what do I need to do? And then you bring, for instance, your strategic thinking themes in. Let me see, what is your futuristic is already one, but in terms of you have activator as number 2. Now, activator is an influencing theme, but it is so much also an execution theme, because it's like acting first and then checking out whether that worked.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so that's very close. So futuristic, make this one, get your activator going. Use your positivity, your connectedness, and your relator skills, and your woo. So you are one of the few who have relator and woo in the top. This is amazing. This is so awesome.
Okay, good.
You love everybody. You have the possibility to go deep in your relationship, but yet you're also not confined to this few. You love everybody, and you have that friendliness to win everybody over. That's a natural gift you have.
Yeah.
So with your futuristic and your activator, you link them together, and then you bring your positivity, your connectedness, your relator, your woo, your communication skills on top. You're never left out of words. You can always verbalize.
Yeah.
Right? So you can even talk, for instance, to your leaders, frontline leaders. This is where I can see not only myself going, but us as a team. And you can communicate it in a way that you will inspire your team. They will deeply tune into your vision, and they will obviously add to your vision, so they find themselves in it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have the activator. So what are we going to do with this one? And then if you bring your team in, you look out for their executing skills.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you miss, you get sidetracked because you don't have the discipline or the focus or the achiever, which kind of like finishes things, right? If you miss that, you can kind of like can collaborate with friends or your frontline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can kind of like be, I mean, I don't like the word accountability part, because everybody, when hear the word accountability part, they run away screaming. You know, they will never say it, but they will run away screaming. Nobody wants an accountability partner. So I say a playing partner or something, but I would invite it into my life, right?
Okay. That's helped great, thank you. I have been talking to Vanessa Jean about this as well, and she relieved me to some degree, saying that she doesn't have any of the executes either in her top strengths. So that gave me a lot of hope, but it was still that figuring out, well, how does it all fit together to just get in and get it done?
You're absolutely right. She has actually only relationship ones primarily in her top 5, you know, and she doesn't have execution. But man, is she an executor? Is she an influencer? But she does it through her relating.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, if you feel futuristic is a good one for you, tune into it and make it as visible. So the most important thing, it needs to be emotionally meaningful for you, and just do it also, let's say, for day-to-day things. So what do I want to achieve today which is meaningful for me? So I can, by the end of the day, check in a little bit, right? And then act on it, and then use your relationship skill to get what you want. So this is very short. It's a little bit superficial. It needs for you to make it relevant. It needs for you to go a little bit deeper and read your report under these questions.
Yeah.
And in the new report, there are often there are action recommendations with your strengths, whether they are executing skills or not. So again, like a reminder, look into the recommendations, what actions are recommended for your top strengths.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I wouldn't mind sharing, Adit. My name is Teresa, and
where are you, Teresa? Oh, Teresa, hi.
Hello. We haven't met. I know Santoshi.
Awesome.
So I'm very thankful to participate in the training with you. I'm quite new to the Strengths Finder, and with doTERRA, I've spent this last year learning about the oils and becoming very passionate about them. And so now I'm learning about the business aspect and trying to get my business up and running, and also trying to get a Pilates business going. And I'm curious, after doing the test, if I could share the 5 strengths, what your reaction would be in terms of what you think might help me to achieve my goals of becoming a leader in doTERRA. So my first one is achiever. The second one is futuristic. The third is connectedness. The fourth is learner. And the fifth is intellection. And I know you've spoken about quite a few of them, but not quite, as we're all different, that this is mine.
Right. So what is your question? Where are you at the moment? What would be like an important question where you feel like you're getting a bit stuck?
Well, I feel that I can connect with people about the business and share the business with, meaning the oils, with them if they're interested in natural solutions for healthcare. But I've yet to find someone to build with.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think it has something to do with the way you present the business opportunity?
Well, to be honest, I probably shied away from that initially because I didn't really understand it. And I'm currently doing a business training with Natalie and Burke Rigby. They're from the States. My sister is living in America, and I'm originally American, but she got me into doTERRA. So the way I met Santoshi is because I didn't have anyone here in Australia. My sister was the person who enrolled me. And so she connected with Santoshi, and then I met her, and I was at your home, but you weren't there at the time. And so I've spent this past year learning heaps about the oils, absolutely loving them, having tremendous success with my own health and my family's, and through that passion, sharing about the oils. But what I've recognized is the business aspect is actually a product as well, and I need to include that in my enthusiasm and passion with others. And I was probably shied away from that. And so now that I'm understanding that more, I have this new found knowledge with my learner. I recognize I do identify with a learner and achiever. Well, all of them really. But I feel like now I'm getting more courage up to be able to say to people, you know, doTERRA is an amazing company and there's a fantastic opportunity here if you want financial freedom. So I feel like I've got it now, and I'm really excited to go, and I want to at least achieve elite by convention. That's my goal. So but I'm not. I read them and I thought, okay, well, it sounds like I should have these strengths. Everything should be in place for me to actually do this business. But seeing that you've been in it for so many years and have achieved such success, I'm wondering, what your thoughts
Okay,
are.
so now can I ask you a couple of questions? Do you have your business elevator speech developed? How can you explain to me, if I would ask you, so what are you doing? Can you explain it to me in 10 seconds? Can you give me a 10-second version, a 30-second version, and a 5-minute explanation?
Maybe I could have a go. So what I'm doing now,
give me the 10-second version.
10 seconds. I'm a Pilates teacher and I'm an essential oils health and wellness coach. And I love helping people find natural solutions for their health and wellness, whether it's through physical fitness or essential oils.
Okay, so now tell me more about the Pilates. You don't tell me, but you give people immediately with that 10-second one, you give them 2 pathways. And 50% will be only interested in the Pilates at the most, right? And the essential oils is, Pilates is clearly defined. Most people know what it is. That other is very vague, yeah? Now, my recommendation is if you want to find a doTERRA business builder, cut the Pilates out of your 10-second, your 30-second, and your 3-minute explanation.
Okay.
Because you divert from your goal, right? So I don't want to go into the details, but I want you to really create an elevator speech. Maybe you write it down, and with your learner and your intellection, you need to go into depth and be very precise. What I notice with you is with intellection, they are a little bit like me. We like to talk. And we can sometimes lose the people because we go a little bit round and about, right? I can relate with myself as well. And I needed to learn to be more precise and give them little bits, digestible bits. Mostly people get overwhelmed with too much information. That's why everybody, in a recommendation for everybody, you need to have your product elevator speech, why doTERRA is good, ready, and it needs to come automatically out. So it is your words naturally, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute or something, right? And then obviously the long explanation comes later. But if someone asks you, and what are you doing? And you start like, and all what your life is about, and what do you want to do, and how doTERRA comes in, and then your Pilates story, and your vision for the future. After 20 seconds, people are already lost often, right? Okay. So this is one of the prime skills to get new people in. You need to be precise, give them something, and then make it so interesting that they ask you, tell me more. Only then you know you have them, right? And that is true. And one of the key things with intro classes too. We did it in the beginning as well, and many people do it. The intro classes need to be short and precise, 30 minutes, 40 minutes at the max, and a little bit of dealing with afterwards. If it is longer, people will often be ready to sign up after 25 minutes, but if you talk another 20 minutes, you talk them out of it, then they're confused again. And I've seen it again and again. I hear so many reports where people tell me the same thing. So less is better. And rather than be in the position to find out more about the person you're talking to find out what are their pain points, right? Before you can say like, hey, I can hear that you are struggling a little bit with finances. Would you be open to learn something new where you can make a little bit of extra money? Would you be open to meet me at a special meeting where we have a coffee and we go through it? Bang. And then you listen. You don't bring it all onto them straight away, right? And so this would be my main recommendation. And because you have a learner and you can now go with your intellection capability, go into your space and kind of like create that for you. I know you can. And then I would recommend also with your connectedness, when you communicate with people, have that really on the top front in your awareness. Am I connecting with people still? Or have I lost them? I created this futuristic vision, how everything is so wonderful when we work together, right? Or with your achiever, if we only do this and this and this and this, then we will be, So check in with your connectedness when you relate with people and create that script where it helps you, it will anchor you so you don't lose yourself intellection, where you talk endlessly about things which might not be relevant for the other person.
Okay.
Does it resonate with you what I'm saying?
Yes. I think sometimes my passion and enthusiasm.
Just 1 second. Jody, can you mute yourself, please?
I think.
1 second. Yeah, she has done it. Okay, thanks.
Okay. I think with my passion and enthusiasm for the oils, sometimes I can give too much information and people, turn off and yeah. I
so understand it. I have done it so many times and I still have to hold myself back to do it myself. So I could so relate with you. And you have this incredible awareness about this. So, and that is the reason why these little scripts, which you are able to do with your intellection, right?
Yeah.
You can create that. You can think about it and you can write them down and you can practice them in your learner. So, and then you go out and then with your learner, you can actually create that feedback loop. Oh my goodness, I tried this one out and I was so much more present with this person and I could more ask intelligent questions and connect deeper with them. So, and then you will see the results coming in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, now I want to ask Mel or Jen, because they were on the call last month. I want to do the feedback loop with you. What happened since we talked last?
I actually got and enrolled with Vanessa and Paul's program of the Premier Club.
Right.
And I'm doing stream 2, which means I've got to enroll. Well, have 12 new enrollees for the month and have 2 personal ones, which is pretty well outside my comfort zone.
Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow. Because the Strength Finders, really does put you where, like, looking at your strength and then how you told me to do. Go back, see what my strengths are, what can I pull in, what can I use. Yeah, get out of my head. Stop having conversations with myself and have them with other people.
Awesome. So which strengths helped you the most? Which was the insights which helped you last time, which helped you to get active?
Probably the adaptability and the learner.
Adaptability and learner. Wow.
Because I have to adapt to be able to go out and and then I love and trying to work out a way to actually do workshops and how to connect with people to get them into workshops, and so being fun.
So what other questions have come up now over that month or even now in this talk?
It's still the how to. I did a Stacey Walker had an online Zoom last night, which I watched today, and she's got some gems in what to do, how to pull in people to do your workshops, and so that's been really helpful as well. Okay,
so now you are so many, I remember you have so many strategic thinkings. One. So what do you think is the weak point of that?
The weak point is I'm still inside my head.
Yes. How do you get out of it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my biggest one, is to try and get out there and get myself motivated to go and connect with more people.
So I want to recommend to you too, these 4 columns.
Yep.
Good thoughts are good, but you will drown in good thoughts and ideas. And when I hear, like, you listen to Stacey Walker and she has so many good points, I see you enjoying it. And then it's already, the day is gone and nothing has happened, right?
No.
Right? So I want you to really sit down, make this list. And my recommendation is, like, each good point is, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
Action. Now, any good points like, I need to integrate it in my next class or in my whatever, or in my post, or right. And then check in with the results. Trade that feedback loop. Very important for you, and find someone who can help you with that. But I love to hear your that you made 12 enrollments. Congratulations! This is unreal.
I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's an idea still. It's an idea still.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know when next month when you're not on. No, I'm joking. I want you to come anyway. So please, but do it. Like, it's good to set a goal, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's nearly like in the morning, you need to kind of like what am I going to do today, and go out and relate with people and about doTERRA. So it's all great insights, and I wish you all the best on your journey, and I'm looking forward in about a month's time to hear about it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's going to be scary, but I'll do it.
All new things which you do are first scary. Mm-hmm. I completely understand.
Yep.
Awesome.
But it's exciting at the same time.
That's right. Yeah. Beautiful. So good on you to go out there and try something new. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks, Adisha. It was really helpful. It's been really good.
Wonderful.
I know to look at it. So.
Okay. So, Mel, how have you been?
Hi, Dish. Sorry I was late. I was in a Diamond Club event that went longer. It's been a interesting month. from last month, one of the things that came out of the strengths I have, one of my strengths is includer, and I was trying to include everyone. So whether they were, you go back to the, you know, when you're looking at your avatar of what you're actually looking for in a person, whether being a team member or a builder. Anyone that came to me, I would try and make them fit. Whereas I've actually been much more, well, I've had to be much more strategic this month, being stuck in bed. But I don't only have a certain amount of time, so I've had to put big girl pants on and not be friends with everyone, because, you know, I like to make friends with everyone.
Because you have Woo, right?
Woo is number 2. Communicator is number 1 and Woo's number 2. So yeah, I will make friends with everyone.
And you talk to everybody.
I do. I love, and like when you were talking about, I can't wait to get to convention and make 30 new friends. I just can't wait. So I don't want to stick with the same people.
Yeah.
So there was that, and the other thing was one of the ahas were how we did those columns last time.
Yeah.
The ahas, the action and the feedback, about balancing out what my own perception of success was in relation to belief. So really drilling down on my belief and what I'm trying to achieve with Simon in this business, and being really clear around what we're trying to, why we're doing this, and making that. And I hadn't really told our team why we were, so we're sort of reaching out to our team much more and getting them involved, which has been really interesting. The feedback we've got is they come on board with you once they realise that they're part of a bigger picture.
So what I hear is you got more clarities about your boundaries.
Yes.
And you got clearer in about your vision, and more specific, and also in the way you communicated with your team.
Yes. I've had to, the boundaries is the big one, because I could happily talk to my team all day long, but then I don't get anything done. So I could happily just help everyone else.
Raised by a question to everybody else. Who has a problem with boundaries? Okay, not everybody, but many of them. So it's what helps me with boundaries is the questions. If I say yes to something in my life, and it is new, right? I want to kind of like create more events for my team, and I want to achieve a new rank, or da-da-da-da-da. I also know I have to let go of something. I have to say no to something. And it's good to identify what it is. It might be 3 hours TV in the evening. It might be having coffee with friends who are not in doTERRA. It might be not kind of like cutting my mentoring calls short from 2 hours to half an hour, right? Whatever it is, but you need to also identify, because if you want to create something new in your life, and it will take time to develop this, you have to let go of something. Now, and then you have to attach the reason, why is this important for you? So you're motivated because you're moving out of your comfort zone, and comfort zone is a little bit like gravity, which is always there. It will always put you back, pull you down to the earth. So you need extra energy to get out of it, and which means like you need to have a really good reason, which is emotionally charged, to do this. And yeah, so this is kind of like, I am very much aware of it, that I can't have it all. Some things have to give. If I want to achieve something new, something has to drop away. And it's good to be very clear about this.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
But this is for those who have intellection, for instance. You can sit down and write it down. I want to create more of this, and in able to do this and have time for this, I have to let go of this. So this is, you can make first in, you know, kind of like identify it, you know, privately again, and then see how you can implement it. And also, it's often what you're saying is, I have the same problem. I like to chat, and then I'm kind of like, but I suddenly realized, like, if I'm chatting 2 hours on a mentoring call and it goes around and around in circle and I will not do my real job, what I need to do as a presidential diamond or whatever, right? Or you as a whatever that you want to achieve in your goal. I will not do my real job because all that time I will not do the pipes. It might be more comfortable to have a 2-hour chat with someone, and but I have to pay the price that this is maybe 1.5 hours where I can do some other constructive actions or relating towards achieving my business. And then when I then communicate it with people, I can tell them that, and it feels round. So I don't have to be rude with them either. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
Because if I feel like I'm settled with this, and I can tell my guys now who want mentoring with me, it's just like, I will do 30 minutes. And I'd like you to prepare so we really go in depth, straight to the point, so we don't have to go into the chit-chat stories. If I'm a personal friend with them, this is personal time, but this is not business. This is business time now. And in my business time, let's look specific at your issues, at your challenges, what happened, so we can work on them, so you get really something out, besides that you feel heard, but nothing else is happening in your life. Don't use me for this. I'm here to do in my business time. I'm here to help you in your doTERRA business, and I want to help you to get results. And I will kind of like formulate it a little bit softer. Probably have to connect it a little bit more, so my activator, my restorative is not too intense.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't think that suddenly doTERRA doesn't seem that much fun if I'm just going straight in and talking business straight away. I'm going to have to create time for my chats in there as well.
Yeah, but my recommendation is separate them.
Yeah.
Try it out as a recommendation. Yeah. Maybe you don't have to change anything. It's just like, hey, how about this? We do half an hour straight doTERRA talk, and then when this is done, then we have a chatty. But we both know this is not doTERRA business time anymore. This is fun time. I'm not against fun. That's not what I mean. But like, if it's business time, be clear about this.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. We've got big goals this year, so we need to make sure we fit everything in.
Okay, so guys, so some have left already, but for you who have been here now, if you come back next month and you give me a little bit of a feedback about how your current ahs and ahas from this talk have translated into action, and maybe have already a feedback loop and some results, how your actions have come out. If you do this and you come to the next Zoom class, I will promise you, no matter what, I will talk to you, because this time again, I didn't talk to some of you. And I apologize, I would love to, but I have to be very strict with my time today, because I have a German friend coming and I have dinner with him, and I haven't seen him for 25 years, so I don't want to have him wait. So fun time now. Business is finishing soon. So I know fun time as well. So I want to thank everybody else. Unless you have a quick questions, we have 4 more minutes. If you have a quick question, I can still answer this. Actually, the next strengths call, let me quickly check. Oops, that didn't work. It's on March the 5th at 6 p.m. If you want to write this down, and I will send it out again. And I will do, I'll send out the link again. So March 6th, it's a Tuesday, I think. Okay, I have to look again. Okay, 6 p.m. definitely, and it is, no, March the 5th, sorry about this. March the 5th, 6 to 8 p.m. If it, I'm still thinking. I mean, I told you in January. Eventually, I will split it up into different ranks, right? But at the moment, when we have only, let's say, 15 to 20 people, which seems to be at the moment, I'm happy to do it just in one go. If we get a little bit bigger, I will split it up into different ranks. Yeah. So in that sense, feel free to invite people, invite friends, and if we get too many people, I will split it up. So I want to kind of like I also check how I can develop it further and learn from it and develop it so that we get some good results from it. How are you? Was it of value for you today?
Very much. I just have a question. In learning this, did you do a course or something to learn more about going into that?
Yeah, I did the coaching qualification. So it's a week-long course, or let's say it's actually only 4.5 days or 5 days. Yeah. And it's in Sydney. If you go onto the Gallup site, so I'm qualified Gallup coach now, and but it's an ongoing journey. I'm obviously a baby, and I'm not looking to make a new career with coaching. I want to really utilize it more and more into our doTERRA world. And the truth is, we are just at the beginning. Yeah. The longer you engage with it, the more you will find gems for your life. And so I'm happy to help and assist you and learn also on my way as well. So thank you for coming all today. Well, so if nobody has to say anything anymore, I want to thank you again, and I will hopefully see you in about a month's time.
Thanks, Adish.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.